हाय फ्रेंड्स, कसे आहात सगळे? मी आहे जयश्री आणि महा एक्झामच्या यूट्यूब चॅनलवर तुमचं पुन्हा एकदा खूप खूप मनापासून स्वागत. तर फ्रेंड्स, आज आपण महा टी-ईटीतील इंग्लिश पेडगॉजी विषयातील चॅप्टर क्रमांक 4 ज्याचं नाव आहे एम्स अँड ऑब्जेक्टिव्ज ऑफ टीचिंग इंग्लिश या चॅप्टरच्या काही नोट्स पाहणार आहोत. या आधीच्या व्हिडिओमध्ये आपण बाकीचे 3ही चॅप्टर कंप्लीट केलेले आहेत, नोट्स पाहिलेले आहेत, त्याचबरोबर क्वेश्चन आन्सर्सही पाहिलेले आहेत. तर आज आपण एम्स अँड ऑब्जेक्टिव्ज ऑफ टीचिंग इंग्लिशच्या नोट्स पाहणार आहोत. याआधी जर चॅनलवर नवीन असाल आणि चॅनलला सबस्क्राईब केलं नसेल तर महा एक्झामच्या यूट्यूब चॅनलला नक्की सबस्क्राईब करा. चला तर मग वळूयात आपल्याच्या विषयाकडे. तर एम्स अँड ऑब्जेक्ट्स ऑफ टीचिंग इंग्लिश. तर teaching of any subject becomes much effective and more systematic only when the teacher is fully aware of the aims and values of teaching of the subject, because the basic principle of teaching is know what you do and only do what you know. So hence, in teaching and learning of English, fixing of aims and objectives is important. By doing so, we can prove meaningful learning experiences to achieve them. Aims and objectives of teaching English will determine all the aspects of its teaching. For example, curriculum, textbook, methods, and techniques of teaching and tools of evaluation. Next point is, the following are the general aims of teaching or learning English in India. आता आपण पाहणार आहोत जनरल एम्स ऑफ टीचिंग और लर्निंग इंग्लिश इन इंडिया. तर पहिला पॉईंट असणार आहे नॉलेज एम. इंग्लिश इज अ वर्ल्ड लँग्वेज. इट इज टॉट आयदर ॲज अ फर्स्ट, सेकंड और third language in India. The Kothari Commission suggested that English be studied as a library language with an aim of getting the knowledge of science and technology, commerce, science, technology and commerce and trade by reading standard books in English. It is a window to the world. One can study wood culture and world civilization with the help of English language. Second point is literary aim, म्हणजे साहित्यिक उद्दिष्ट. तर English has a rich literature, several works of great authors of English such as plays of Shakespeare, poem of Wordsworth, Keats, Shelley, S.T. Coleridge, and others have been prescribed for study in several universities of the world. English literature is not only to develop appreciation among the students but also for the purpose of fostering creativity in literature. Fostering म्हणजे वाढवणे. Next aim is cultural aim, सांस्कृतिक उद्दिष्ट. Another aim of teaching and learning of English language is to develop the skill of appreciation for world culture, civilization and history, and it is possible only through the knowledge of English. Several Indian scholars and kings have already made substantial contribution to the world history, and their contribution, like the values of peace and non-violence by the King Ashoka, is being read and appreciated by the people across the globe. Similarly, Indians are able to appreciate the contribution of international scholars and scientists in various fields, which include Marconi, Alfred Tennyson, Karl Marx, Kent. The learning, sharing and dissemination म्हणजे प्रसार dissemination of world cultures would not have been possible in the absence of English language. Thus the learning of English language has enabled us to realize the cultural aim. Next aim is utilitarian aim म्हणजेच उपयुक्तवादी उद्दिष्ट. English language has been utilized for various purposes for the past several countries. It has been widely used in the field of business, international trade and commerce to conduct the proceedings of international conferences, organizations like UNO, UNESCO, WHO. Further, it has been used to promote international relations and to provide employment opportunities across the globe. Next point is aims of teaching English. इंग्लिश शिकवण्याचे उद्दिष्ट काय आहे त्याविषयी जाणून घेऊया. इन इंडियन इंग्लिश नाव एक्झिस्ट ॲज अ सेकंड लँग्वेज. द एम ऑफ टीचिंग इंग्लिश इन इंडिया इज टू हेल्प स्टुडंट्स टू अक्वायर प्रॅक्टिकल कमांड ऑफ इंग्लिश. फॉर एक्झाम्पल, स्टुडंट्स शुड बी able to understand spoken English, speak English, read English and write English. So the four basic aims of teaching English. तर इंग्लिश शिकवण्याचे 4 मुख्य उद्दिष्ट कोणते आहे? According to Thompson and Waite, the 4 specific aim of teaching English at school stage are. तर पहिलं उद्दिष्ट आहे टू अंडरस्टँड स्पोकन इंग्लिश, टू स्पीक इंग्लिश. थर्ड आहे टू अंडरस्टँड रिटन इंग्लिश आणि फोर्थ वन आहे टू राईट इंग्लिश. तर हे 4 मुख्य उद्दिष्ट आहे इंग्लिश शिकवण्याचे. नेक्स्ट पॉईंट इज एम्स ऑफ टीचिंग इंग्लिश ॲट ज्युनियर लेवल. 6वी ते 8वीच्या क्लासमध्ये इंग्लिश शिकवण्याचे उद्दिष्ट काय आहे? तर पहिलं उद्दिष्ट आहे टू अंडरस्टँड स्पोकन इंग्लिश. सेकंड इज टू अक्वायर स्पोकन इंग्लिश. थर्ड आहे टू अक्वायर अ वोकॅब्युलरी सफिशियंट टू हेल्प द स्टुडंट इन यूज ऑफ इंग्लिश. फोर्थ वन आहे टू बी एबल टू मेक सिम्पल स्टेटमेंट्स थ्रू इंग्लिश. फिफ्थ वन आहे टू रिस्पॉन्ड टू शॉर्ट conversational questions. Sixth one आहे write English legible and coherently. लॉजिबल म्हणजे सहजपणे आणि कोहेरेंटली म्हणजे सुसंगतपणे. पुढचा स्टेज पाहूया. तर क्लास 9वी ते 12वी च्या विद्यार्थ्यांना इंग्लिश शिकवण्याचे उद्दिष्ट काय आहे? द एम्स ऑफ टीचिंग इंग्लिश ॲट सिनियर लेवल 9वी ते 12वी 9 to 12th. सो पहिलं उद्दिष्ट आहे टू बी एबल टू स्पीक इंग्लिश फ्लुएंटली अँड ॲक्युरेटली. सेकंड एम इज टू थिंक इन इंग्लिश अँड देन स्पीक. थर्ड एम इज to be able to compose freely and independently in speech and write. Fourth aim is to be able to talk in English. Fifth one is to be able to read books with understanding. Sixth aim is to acquire a vocabulary of 2500 words. To acquire a vocabulary of 2500 words. Seventh aim is ability to use reference material such as encyclopedia, dictionary, etc. Next point is objectives of teaching English. Dr. B.S. Bloom has defined educational objectives as the desired goal or outcome at which instruction is aimed. The effective learning of language would be meaningful and complete only when the objective of learning the language is understood thoroughly. Similar for proper study of English language. Its objectives and skills must be understood and realized in their proper perspective. Next point is characteristics of good objectives. So the first characteristics of good objectives is it should be specific and precise म्हणजे अचूक. Then next characteristic is it should be attainable. Third one is it should be based on psychological principles. Next is it should be for the development of the student. Next characteristic is it should be helpful in acquiring, democratizing aims. Sixth one is it should be for modifying students' behavior. Next point is the following are the important objectives of teaching of English. So the first one is comprehension म्हणजे आकलन. It is a psychological process in which a language learner receives messages either through listening skill or reading skill. The acquisition of other skills such as speaking and writing depends upon the quality of comprehension. Then some important components of comprehension are grasping the meaning of the words and thoughts, locate the key throws, find out the distinction म्हणजे भेद between stressed and unstressed sounds. Stressed and unstressed sounds, recognize the speech patterns, etc. Comprehension is realized through various activities like listening to teacher's narration description and through reading a written or printed material. Next, second point is expression, व्यक्त करणे. The learner must learn to express thoughts himself clearly. Expression is a process in which speaker expresses his or her thoughts through articulation. Articulation म्हणजे उच्चार. Or written expression or both. Expression has 3 types. तर व्यक्त करण्याचे 3 प्रकार आहेत. First one is oral, then written, third one is body language. In this context of teaching expression as a second language, non-verbal communication, for example, body language is not given much importance. In oral expression, intelligibility in speech is the important components. Other components like articulation of sounds, stress, intonation, pronunciation, pause, rhythm, frequency and accuracy. Written expression as an objective is realized with the help of certain components wise production of written symbols, words, phrases, clause, sentences, paragraphs, stories, essay reports and summary. In addition to those, there are other minor components such as unity, then coherence म्हणजे सुसंवाद, then precision अचूकता, त्यानंतर adequacy पर्याप्तता, त्यानंतर comprehensiveness, then completeness. Third point is appreciation, kautuk. Appreciation is one of the important objective of teaching English. There is adequate scope to develop application through language teaching, especially in teaching of poetry. The study of poetry provides ample म्हणजे पुष्कळ. Poetry provides ample opportunities to inculcate the skill of appreciation through various literary म्हणजे साहित्य, device wise rhyming words, figure of speech, matter, alliteration, dictation, images and style. Thompson and Waite rightly remarked that it is necessary that the Indian pupil should not only understand English when it is spoken or written, but also he should himself be able to speak and write it. Yet clear-cut objectives should be started so that good planning could be done and right type of methods and techniques of teaching can be adopted. So the two main objectives of teaching English are इंग्लिश टीचिंगमध्ये दोन मेन ऑब्जेक्टिव्स आहेत. ते कोणते? तर फर्स्ट आहे लँग्वेज डेव्हलपमेंट आणि दुसरं आहे लिटररी डेव्हलपमेंट, साहित्यिक विकास, भाषा विकास आणि साहित्यिक विकास. विथ द ॲडव्हान्समेंट of class and age of students, those two objectives will differ. Next point is objectives of at junior level, class 6 to 8th. At this level the main aim is language development. पहिलं उद्दिष्ट काय असणार आहे 6वी ते 8वीच्या विद्यार्थ्यांसाठी इंग्लिश शिकण्यासाठी? So the first main aim is in development, language development. हे first aim असणार आहे. So English should be taught as a language and not a literature. Fourfold objectives of language teaching. The fourfold objectives of language teaching can be drawn from aspects of languages. The four aspects of language are, first is aspects म्हणजे दृष्टिकोन. So first is semantic शब्दार्थ, so related to understanding. Second is phonetic म्हणजे उच्चार, deals with sound, spelling and pronunciation. Third one is graphic वर्णनात्मक किंवा चित्रकला, related to writing. Fourth one is phonetic come graphic, dealing with reading. In this way it can be said that the four objectives of teaching English are, first is to teach pupils to hear and understand spoken English. Second is to make them understand what they read in English. Third one is to teach people to speak in English. Fourth one is to write in English. Next is objectives at senior level, class 9th to 12th. So the first the first objective is senior level, development of a taste for English literature by reading prose, poetry, story, etc. Second objective as senior level, so drawing aesthetic pleasure from reading for literature. aesthetic म्हणजे सौंदर्यात्मक. Third one is understanding critical views. Fourth one is development of translating ability. Fifth one is developing interest in English literature. तर फ्रेंड्स हे होते एम्स अँड ऑब्जेक्टिव्स ऑफ टीचिंग इंग्लिश. तर हा तुम्हाला आजचा व्हिडिओ तुम्हाला कसा वाटला नक्की कमेंट करून कळवा. व्हिडिओ आवडला असेल तर व्हिडिओला लाईक करा, शेअर करा आणि चॅनलवर नवीन असेल आणि चॅनलला सबस्क्राईब केलं नसेल तर महा एक्झामचे यूट्यूब चॅनलला नक्की सबस्क्राईब करा. तर आता फ्रेंड्स थांबूया, इथेच भेटूया पुढच्या व्हिडिओमध्ये. जय हिंद.